Hello and welcome to this Tax Calc podcast. Today we'll be speaking to Stephen Poole of Valued Accountancy, so stay tuned for some interesting listening. Stephen, thanks very much for joining us today for this Tax Calc podcast. This is the second instalment, and this is Stephen Poole from Valued Accountants. Stephen, if you'd just like to introduce yourself a little bit for us, please.
Hi everyone, thank you very much, Matt. Thank you very much to everyone at Tax Calc for the kind invitation. As Matt alluded to there, I'm the founder and CEO of Valued, based up in the northeast of England. We have around about 600 limited companies we look after and around about 1,000 personal tax returns now.
Awesome. And we've come up to see you before, Stephen. You've got some beautiful offices up there up north, but I guess you're not in them at the moment.
We're not. I was like, just as you asking that question, I was sniggering to myself thinking, yeah, it feels like the last time I was in them was the time that you were up there as well, to be perfectly honest. I've not been anywhere near the office in 9 weeks, I think it is now, yeah. So we closed the office just before the announcement. I think it was the morning of the announcement we took the decision, and then that was it. We were closed. Obviously, Boris and the government have turned around and said you can't start open up office space, but we've took the decision that actually it's still not the right thing for us to do. They have asked that we still work from home where possible, and we're going to try and work at home as long as we can. I've got lots of views, which I'm more than happy to share about my view in the future of where we'll actually have office space and things like that. But yeah, I haven't been anywhere near my office for 9 weeks now.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I mean, it's really interesting because you're seeing all these fintech companies and all these companies over in Silicon Valley now saying that, you know, even when lockdown has lifted, they're still going to continue with this working from home. So do you think that's quite similar for how you foresee the future?
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's a great question. And I think it's a question that a lot of employees are going to ask of their employers when they do go back. Because what we're seeing is actually, let's use me as an example. One of my biggest motivation, I imagine like many of the listeners, is their family. I want to spend time with my wife, with my two daughters, with Lucy and Jessica. That's so important to me. My commute is 30 minutes away. It's not too far. 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back, 5 times a week. That's the best part of a working day, gone on travel time. Actually, I don't want to do that anymore. So we actually put a survey out, a poll out to our team and said, right, what would you like to happen? Let's assume that Boris can give us all that magic jab or whatever we need, the injection, just to say that we can go back to work and everyone's all right. Let's assume that that's happened. What would you like to do? Do you want to work from the Consett office? Do you want to work from the Newcastle office? Given the choice, because some people are closer to one office than the other. Do you want to work set days in the office and set days at home? Or do you want to work at home exclusively? 75% of my team, which is a big number, said that they want to work either at home exclusively or work set days from the office and set days at home. That to me that's transformational in my opinion, because I think that's what we're going to see when a lot of office-based staff go back to work. They are going to be saying to their bosses that actually they don't want to have to do that commute every day. They don't want to have to go into work every day. And to be brutally honest, why do we need to go into the office every single day? As I say, Valued and me and my team have all worked at home from the last 9 weeks. The only thing that we're missing, the social interaction. Yeah, that's the biggest thing that we are missing. But apart from that, we're not really missing that much. What I can also tell you, Matt, is before coronavirus, I was looking to take additional space on in that office space that you've been to there. But actually what I've done is I now said I'm not interested in the additional space and I'm just going to work from home.
Yeah. I mean, what really surprised me that it took something like coronavirus to force this on us. But now that this has happened, everyone is thinking more about the freedom and you know, that work-life balance, because it allows us to take that step toward a more, you know, fair, more equal work-life balance. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think work-life balance, for a lot of us, it's a myth. It's something that we read in the books. It's things that we hear on the podcasts, we view online and all these sort of things. And all of us want a better work-life balance. But actually, I think it's a generational thing as well, where if we look at the likes of my parents, my grandparents, they went to work. And actually, the next generation coming through now, those guys want to spend time with their friends. They want to spend time with the family. And I think I'm 44. I sound like a right old what's it at this point, but I think I'm halfway between, where actually I'm saying, you know what, I want to spend time with my family, but at the same time, I feel compelled to go to the office. Coronavirus, COVID-19 has given me that kick up the backside to say you don't have to keep on doing things the way that you've always done. You can work from home. You can have that flexibility. Let's just say this morning, what I've done is the last 9 weeks, I've pretty much been in my living room. Yeah, it's a room in the house that I never ever used. It's, if I spin the computer around, you can see the kids' kitchen and all that sort of stuff, all the toys, all of that side. That's great. That's what this room was. I never came in here. Now this has become my office. Today I actually said, you know what, it's a nice sunny day outside. I'm going to go and sit and work outside. And the only reason I've come inside was to record this sessions, because I wanted a little bit of peace and quiet, hopefully not have the kids running past and things like that. But other than that, actually, that gives me flexibility. And I think that's the important thing. When you talk about work-life balance, it actually comes into the flexibility of actually being able to do what you want to do at a time that's convenient for us as a business, but also for me as an individual.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you touched on something there, which is very important. You know, it is to do with, you know, the age. So people now are growing into a world where the technology is there to allow them to work from home. So if you'd like to just talk a bit about, you know, your work from home habits, what kind of equipment are you using, what kind of software are you using, and how's that made this easier for you as a team?
Yeah, so at Valued, we've been really fortunate. We took the decision, I think it was 2 years ago-ish, that we wouldn't have any desktop computers in the office. Everyone would have a laptop. Some are on Mac, some are on PC. Again, it came down to preference. I personally use a Mac. But what I've actually done is I've got an iMac at home, like the big Mac things. So I've got one of those dual screen fitted up here. All we've done is we've said to the team, if you want to take dual screens home to work from home, you can. If you want to leave them in the office and just do that, typically in the office we have 3 screens on the go. We had some spare screens, so we've just give them to the team and said, here, work from home. Other than that, the only other problem that we had was the telephone system. We thought that we were I thought that I'd future-proof the telephone system, because everybody could work from home, everyone could have access, you could transfer the calls, everything would be fine. But the only bit I didn't realise at the time was I need somebody in the office to press transfer. And that's what it came down. I was like, no, seriously, you are joking. But I went off to the guys who look after our telephone systems, and 3 hours later, they had upgraded our system. I think it cost about £300. So now every bit of the call goes directly through to my iPad, my mobile, or my desktop. It does make a difference. I can transfer between the 3. So if I want to take a call in the office, and how many of us have done this in the past, I'm just heading out, ring me on the mobile in a minute. Actually, I can just transfer the call straight to my mobile and vice versa. So it gives us lots of flexibility. That's cost me additional, I think it's £6 a month, something like that per user. So it's not an expensive bit of kit that I've had to sign up for. Other than that, everything we use is in the cloud.
Yeah.
So we are very fortunate. What I do also know, though, is I took we might come on to a question like this later on, I would imagine, but we took a new member of staff on in April. And also a new practice. We acquired a new practice at the same point. And I remember the guy, Michael, who we were taking on from the other accountancy practice, he actually rang me and said, look, I've been put on gardening leave, not because I've done anything wrong, but actually I haven't got the technology for me to be able to work from home. This is a big firm based in the city centre of Newcastle. It's a firm that I actually looked up to and respected. It's been there for a lot of years. And actually what we found was that a lot of their staff had been furloughed straight away because they didn't have the work. Michael joined us. He's not been to the office other than for the interview, and chances are he's actually going to pass his probationary period before he goes to the office, that takes a little bit to get your head round. But actually, it's the new way of working, and I think it's the new normal that everyone's talking about, is what will the new normal look like? To me, as business owners, as advisors, as accountants, this is the moment when we can actually take that step back and either look at our internal systems internally for our business and say, what do we need to do that will make us different, that will actually make our life better, but also make the life of our team better as well. Yeah, because ultimately, I think you are going to have a lot of business owners out there and a lot of employees are going to say, you know what, I've worked from home for X amount of months, or why do I suddenly want to come to the office? Are you going to have people that have been sadly furloughed, and actually they're going to find it really difficult to get up and go to the office? Yeah, it's things like that are a bit of a challenge, even down to the commute. As I said, my commute's normally an hour a day. Now it's 13 steps walking down the stairs.
So, just in terms of software, then, Stephen. So you're completely cloud based in terms of software. I know that you're Zero and you're TaxCalc Cloud Connect now. So the transition, I guess, in terms of software has been very little. The only big problem for you there was the telephone system. Is that right?
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. Everything we do on Zero on Receipt Bank, it's totally cloud. And when we very first spoke to the guys at TaxCalc, they told us about Cloud Connect, and it was a case of yes, we had to do that. I don't see the point of going on to TaxCalc and not doing the Cloud Connect, in my opinion. It was a natural extension of everything else that we do, just to allow us to be able to work from home.
So I guess on that vein, then you've got no internal servers that you're having to maintain.
I tell a lie. Actually, I alluded to it there. I've actually acquired a practice.
Oh yes.
And the practice that I acquired actually uses TaxCalc as well. Right? Happy days, brilliant. Everything was fine, no problems in my head. Little did I know they didn't have Cloud Connect. All of their data is on their server. Yeah. Now the guys at TaxCalc, I spoke to. I can't remember whether it was yourself or Daryl. I spoke to and said, look, we've got a problem here. We need to go from server to our Cloud Connect. You guys just took care of all of it for us. Yeah, so it worked like a dream. There was no issues whatsoever there. So technically, yes, I do have a server. If anybody wants an expensive door opener, something like that, just let me know. I'll certainly send it down. I'll wipe it and send it down to somebody, because it's going to cost me money to get rid of it. I don't need that server and I don't want that server. Yeah, it's just an additional expense that I don't see the point of right now.
Well, I'm sure a lot of the TaxCalc customers will be really interested to hear your thoughts on servers there, Stephen. Okay, so just get onto your clients a little bit. So, I mean, I know we've spoken quite a bit over the last couple of weeks about your Facebook groups and what have you, and what you're doing to try and help your clients. But what are the big key challenges that you're seeing that are coming up at the moment, and how is it you're planning to counter those and help make your clients' lives easier at the moment?
Yeah, so one of the first things that we did, I remember sitting up at the office and watching the announcements coming through. I stood at the boardroom table. I watched the announcement, and the Chancellor was saying, right, we're going to start to offer the ability to furlough, and we're going to have the initial loans and all of this other stuff coming out. And there was just so much noise, so much excitement, so much disbelief, so much everything. Yeah. And I actually remember standing up at that point and actually clapping my hands and thinking, wow, you've just saved so many clients, businesses, as a result of the initial announcements that were made. Time will tell all the best things or not, but yeah, I remember at that one point. But I also remember looking down and seeing my phone, and my phone was just buzzing. It had calls coming in, it had texts coming in. I went into my emails and I had 20, 30 emails. I had WhatsApp messages, I had Facebook messages. It was just coming from everywhere. And I remember thinking, oh my heavens, how the heck do I deal with this? I've already said we've got a lot of clients that we look after. How do I get this message out to our clients quickly? So one of the things that we decided very, very quickly as a senior management team was to set up a community. Something that we wanted to do for a long time. We just never got around to it for a multitude of reasons. So we set up the Valued Business Community. And what we did there was we invited clients into it. We said, look, if this is the one place that we are going to put a message out there quickly, right? So as soon as the Chancellor stands up, I will do a live saying this is what it means for ordinary business owners, without all of that government speak, without all of that noise, right? Without the newspapers having their impression on it and everybody else having their impression, and the friend down the pub or wherever it might be, everybody having different conversations. What I want to do is make sure that actually we got the facts out to our clients very quickly. So we set up the community, and very, very quickly we had, I think it was about 50 clients just signed up straight away. But what we also found was that we had clients saying, is it all right if my friend joins this as well? They're not a client of Valued. Yeah, not a problem, because we want to help them. We had a couple of business groups that we work with. They said, is it all right if our members join? Yes, not a problem. So actually we suddenly realized that, you know what, we need to open this up. So we opened it up. You still have got to apply to join it, and that's a conscious decision, because we want to make sure that the advice that's given out there is the right advice. But we have given the option for any business owner throughout the country to join the Valued Facebook community. In that community, what we do is a number of things. The first thing that we do is, as I say, every single time that there is an announcement, I do a Facebook Live, and I say what that announcement means to the business community. What we also do as well is, if there's any press updates, if there's any government updates there, we'll put those out just as a blog post potentially. If it's something that's not controversial, if it is just purely fact-based, we'll put that out there. We also put things like how to actually apply for the furlough scheme, how to actually apply for the self-employed furlough scheme as well. So clients have to apply themselves for the self-employed furlough scheme. So we did a video on how to actually do that. We put that in the group. So that it's, I guess the group's there for two reasons. It's to make sure that the message can get out to all of our clients, and we've got a very big number of our clients that use the group now, or are part of the group. But it's also, it's a way of me getting information out quickly to try and reduce some of the calls, reduce some of the contact points that we're having, so that actually we can focus on the clients that have the real issues and the real problems. Now, obviously not every single client is on Facebook. So what we also do is we link that back to an email that goes out to clients roughly once a week as well, which summarizes the posts, the blogs that have gone through there as well. What we've also started to do as well is we put a blog out every Tuesday. So there'll be a blog out has gone out today on Tuesday, and we'll do a live again on that on Thursday, and we'll bring other business speakers in as well. So we've had HR experts come in, we've had people from the banking community come in there. I've done bits about and my team did bits last week about what it's like to work from home. And it's just a great way of getting a great way of getting a conversation flowing between clients, but also potential clients. And what we're seeing now is a lot of the clients that originally had said, can I bring my friend in? The friend is now asking us to be their accountant, because actually they're not getting any support from their accountants. They want more help. They want more support. So this is the way that we've done it.
Yeah, that's amazing. So not just, offering that clarity to what the government is saying. You're absolutely right. Sometimes it is filled with government speak, and and as a business owner, it's quite difficult to kind of comprehend that. But in addition to that, what you're doing is you're offering that, one-to-one advice on how to put through yourself on a furlough scheme and what have you, because you're absolutely right. You can't do that for them.
Yeah. I think the big thing, we're all members of the same communities on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on online, and a lot of it is a lot of accountants actually asking, what would you do in this example? What would you do in this case? And accountants don't have all the answers. We're trying our best to give as much clarity to our clients as we can get, but sometimes clients just actually want that arm around the shoulder. They just want to know that actually somebody has their back, somebody's there to help them, somebody's there to support them. And the whole idea of the community originally was to offer that arm around the shoulder, to give them that support. It's evolved since then. Where it's going to go in 12 months' time, I'm not quite sure, is the honest answer. I think it will develop into a different beast. We've even talked about closing down our Valued Facebook page and just having it as the community. But actually, it's morphing into a sort of a members-only group in there right now. So that's where we do the podcast first, and then we repurpose them on our LinkedIn, on our Twitter, on our general Facebook page. So everything starts in the group and then filters out to the wider world.
So it's become a bit of a marketing tool for you as well, in a way, then, I guess.
It was never designed to be a marketing tool, but it certainly is helping to attract additional clients. But I think that probably leads us on to another point. And one of the things I said before there was about the different groups that we're all members of. And it's things like the furlough scheme, where all the accountants were saying, how much do we charge for this? Some people were charging £20 per employee. Some people were charging £100 minimum. Some charging £500 minimum. It was just, there was a vast amount of pricing that was out there. Actually, what I wanted to do and what I did was I laid my stall out very quickly and very early that Valued were not in this to attract new clients. It's become a byproduct, and we have attracted clients from there, but there's some videos on there very, very early where I'm saying I'm not going to charge to put furlough claims in. And we've not charged to put furlough claims in. Some people will think I'm absolutely crazy for doing that, but to me, I wanted to help our clients, and that was one of the ways that I could do it. The other thing that we did as well was we had people that would ring up and say, I'm really struggling, I'm not sure. These are the people that aren't our clients. We'd always refer them back to their accountant, give them a bit of advice to go back to their accountant. Now what we'll find is they're actually still coming back and saying, you know what, I don't want to work with XYZ, I want to work with you guys, because they see how we are interacting with our clients. So to answer the question, it was never designed as a marketing tool, but it certainly found us new clients on the back of that.
And I think that harks back to, I don't know if you'll remember this, Stephen, but we when we did our testimonial with you in person, we were talking about the values of Valued. And, it always seems that Valued has had fantastic values in the way that you trust your clients, and, you try and help them through. And, it's about, that mutual help.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, it's the human side of accountancy. It's looking at it and trying to understand what makes each client different. So instead of us all having the business books, apologies, I haven't got the business books behind us here, but we're all meant to have the business books, I think, behind us on the podcast and everything or on the news. But actually, to me, instead of reading all the business books that say, let's make everybody a millionaire, sometimes business owners just want additional time with the family. Sometimes they just want enough money coming in to pay the mortgage this month. Sometimes people just want to have that holiday that they've not had for X amount of years. They want the time to be able to go on holiday, not the money. Some people want to build a vast business with lots of staff and lots of profit. And yeah, to me, it's actually about taking the time to listen to the client and say, what do you really, really want? And I think this is the perfect time right now with COVID-19 to actually speak to the clients, to communicate with the clients and say, right, what does the new normal look like for you? What is it that you're trying to achieve here? How many of us have all said in the past, I wish I could get off the bus for 5 minutes and just stop the madness, just breathe, just actually realize why I'm doing what I'm doing and realize what I'm doing it for. So the why and the what. Actually, this is the time. And it's been very, very difficult for us as accountants to actually get that time. I accept that, but as we are starting to get that time, I think this is the bit where we need to take that step back and go, right, what does the new normal look like? Let's stop waiting for the government to tell us what the new normal looks like. They'll tell us about social distancing at work. They'll tell us that we've got to put screens up. We've got to have one way in, one way out, different days of work and different shift patterns, whatever it might be. That's all in the guidance that we've all read. Actually, what is the new normal? Is the new normal that we work from home? Is the new normal that actually we sack some of the clients that we never want to deal with anyway, that are a pain in the backside? Is the new normal that actually we get some team members in that we've always wanted? Yeah, this is the opportunity right now to actually get your business how you want your business to be, instead of letting the government decide what the new normal will be. Take that time to evaluate what you've got right now and take that time to understand what you want. And it's what actually comes from within you. I'm all right. I'm a sole trader in this. I'm a limited company, but I'm a sole director in the company. I've got a management team that I consult with. But actually, if you've got partners, then sit around the table with them, get on a Zoom session, get on a hangout, whatever it might be, and actually figure out what you want now and decide what the new normal looks like.
Take stock.
100%. Don't accept what is going to happen. Just actually realize that you can play a part in what that new normal looks like, and don't be a victim. Don't just say, you know what, it's going to be the biggest, darkest, deepest recession that we've ever had. Actually decide what you're going to do before we get to that stage, if we get to that stage.
I think that leads on quite nextly to my next real question then. So from your clients, from your colleagues, from whoever at the moment, what are the key kind of questions that you're getting, and what kind of response are you giving to those?
Yeah, the questions that we're getting are very, very basic. What do I do? When can I go back to work? How should I employ somebody? Should I make everyone redundant? What can I do to save money? I'm not getting the question which says, how can I cancel your services? How can I cancel your fees? I don't get that question. We've had a couple of clients that have had just cancelled. We have had a few that have said, I'm struggling. Can I have some support? We will, and we have supported those guys. But I think, to me, it's very, very basic questions. It's the what and the hows. What do I do to actually get through this? Am I going to be all right? The simple answer is nobody knows what the answer is. Yeah, further on down the line, we don't know when all the bars are going to open. For those clients that are in the hospitality industry, we're starting to know when the retailers are going to be open. Now they've been told it's going to be the 15th of June. We don't know, yeah. But what we can do is we can give best advice. We can take time to listen to the client, to understand the person behind the business, and then give them the advice that's applicable to them as an individual and as a business owner, not a generic answer that we can give out to every single client. There's some basic stuff that we can give out as generic answers to every client. That's where we use in the community. But rather than actually say the same thing over and over and over 700 times, we put that in the community, we put that on the emails, but we're actually taking time to speak to clients and find out what their questions are. I think it's not just about waiting for the phone to ring as well. It's actually about us picking up the phone as the partner, actually ringing every single client. It's actually about the team ringing the clients, because what we're seeing is that actually the team want to help, the team understand what is happening. If I can educate the team, then the team can educate the clients. And that what that's doing is actually empowering the team. And our happiness scores internally have raised quite significantly because of team happiness. That could be working from home, but I suspect it's also them doing more in terms of client contact as well.
Yeah, that's great to hear. So you're really trying to be very proactive in how you're reaching out to these clients, and rather than that reactivity, which, for most clients it can lead to a negative kind of opinion, especially given the circumstance that they might not be able to, they might not have time to just come and call you, every time they've got a problem. But yeah.
I think what we're doing as well is by having the community, we're actually giving the client the option to ask questions late at night. We've kind of, a couple of weeks ago, we've started to stop the late night telephone calls, because we were getting to the stage where I was taking some calls at 11 o'clock on Friday night, and you just think, this is crazy. Yeah, I need to see my family. But actually, when you start explaining that to clients, then clients have actually started to back off a little bit, and they're actually posting questions on the community, which other business owners are able to answer, or we can get back later on as well.
Yeah. So one of the final things we're going to go through today is just in terms of your practice. Have you found time to make improvements at the moment? I know you've spoken a little bit about this, taking stock and what have you, but have you had time for other changes, such as improvements to technology, improvements to software, and how do you see that happening over the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, as I alluded to before, as I said before, we've acquired a new practice. That new practice was all desktop based. They didn't have any laptops. So one of the very first things that we had to do was go out and buy 5 new laptops, I think it was. Probably the worst time you ever want to buy laptops. The price of them just went through the roof. Wish I'd seen that one coming, but hey ho. We've upgraded the telephone system. Other than that, there's not a lot of software changes that I could see us want to do over the next 6 to 12 months. We'd had the foresight to actually change that already. To me, it's more around our service offering for clients. So it's actually saying to clients, right, how do you want us to interact? When do you want us to interact? So we're doing a lot more conversations through Zoom now, through Google Hangouts now. We aren't going out to clients' premises. That is because of COVID-19 and social distancing, but actually clients are now telling us that this is the way that they want to interact. They're not bothered about me going and seeing them in their premises. I think that will be the new norm for me. Working from home will become the new norm for me. That's probably the biggest thing I've got to do in the next 2 weeks, is actually decide what will happen. I've already told my team a couple of weeks ago that we will not be opening the office until the end of this month, but I need to make that decision again to say, right, actually, do I want to start opening the office up? Apart from that, it's then just a case of actually speaking to clients and find out what they want and making sure that we can offer the service to all of those clients. Because one of the things that we've seen is our new fees on new clients, or fees from new clients, is dramatically improved in the last 10 weeks. Yeah, it's gone up. I think it's around about 30% increase to what we'd seen this time last year. So it's a massive increase in such a horrible time period. We've got to make sure that we've got the internal systems right to be able to cope with that increase in demand. That's what I'm going to be spending my next couple of weeks working on.
Yeah, so you were pretty future proofed. So Corona, I guess, didn't hit you, or COVID-19 didn't hit you quite as hard in the sense of technology issues. I mean, talking about the offices, this kind of makes you think whether the WeWork offices might actually work now, rather than just being a huge black hole in terms of money pit.
Yeah, without a shadow of doubt. I think to me, I knew I was acquiring this other firm. I knew I was bringing a new member of staff on. I've got 6 people without a desk in my office in Concert right now. I've got the desks, they've got the computers, they've got the screens, they've got all that technology. But what they haven't got is a physical desk in an office. And I haven't gone up and actually put them a physical desk in their space in that office. Actually, I don't know what that bit looks like yet. That's why I need to decide what it will be. So it's not just things like WeWork. It's actually hot desks in our offices. And I think that'll become the future. I could actually see a day where we have a space for clients to drop records off, but actually we don't have 22 people sitting in an office between 9 and 5. I think flexi working will become more prominent. I think working from home will become more prominent. And I think that will be the new norm. And it's up to me as a business owner to decide what will happen with that before my team come and ask me the questions. I want to be proactive in that. I want to be able to go to them and say, look, this is what's on offer, and give them the options and let them choose. Because I think people will remember COVID-19, coronavirus, and the businesses that stood and the people that stood alongside them. They will also remember the businesses that tried to make a lot of money on the back of this. They'll also remember the employees that actually didn't help, that didn't support, that didn't communicate. You got some businesses where they've furloughed people 9 weeks ago, and they've not spoke to them for those 9 weeks. Actually, at Valued, we've not furloughed one employee, and I'm very, very proud of that. That has helped us from a capacity point of view, from a new client point of view. But what it's also done is it's made sure that we speak to our team at least twice a day. We have a morning hangout and we have an afternoon hangout. It's how we start every day. 5 days a week we do that. We do a social one on a Friday afternoon where we all sit and have a beer with people as well. To me, it's about helping our team to be the best that they can be.
That's perfect. And I think what we'll do is we'll end it there today. Stephen, thanks so much for joining. It really has been very much appreciated.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Just before I sign off, I'd like to mention our From Tax Calc with Love campaign, with its heartfelt aim of supporting our wonderful NHS, raising funds to make visors, scrubs and scrub bags for the fantastic frontline medical staff. If you'd like to donate, you can find our GoFundMe page. Just search in Google for From Tax Calc with Love, or go on GoFundMe and search for Tax Calc. Thank you for joining us, and please stay tuned for the next Tax Calc podcast.